Welcome to Bellingham Unitarian Fellowship. I'm Reverend Paul Bethel. Come, whoever you are. Welcome to you who are online, and welcome to you who are sleeping in, and will join us later when you watch us on YouTube.
Welcome to those with children and welcome to those without. It is good to be together as we honor the wisdom of the ancestors and as we step back to make room for the next generation who will change this world in ways we cannot yet imagine.
Welcome to new visitors and to those who have been checking us out for a little while. Buff claims to be a place of welcome to all who come in the spirit of goodwill. Please hold us to that promise. You have every reason to expect that after the service today, you will be treated as an honored guest. Of course, every one of us can look around right now and see probably a dozen or more people who we don't know or haven't been in touch with for the last couple of years. So I guess we're just going to have to treat all of each other as honored guests, and especially giving first priority to those who we don't know.
This applies to those of us here at Buff and those with us online. Please stay for our online coffee hour, not for your own sake, but to offer hospitality to those who are new.
Creating a culture of welcome at Buff as the pandemic continues is a challenging balance. By following sane public health guidelines, we have created barriers to attendance. As we take down these barriers, we're likely to have some people return and others to stay away even longer. In any case, we have decided to no longer require vaccination to attend on Sunday services and other activities at Buff. We also have lifted our restrictions on the size of events to be held here, as well as restrictions about serving and preparing food. As conditions change, we will continue to follow state, local, and CDC guidelines. Should you or anyone with whom you've had close contact feel unwell, or if you've had a positive COVID test, please follow CDC guidelines around quarantining. There's a link to those in your order of service, along with several other announcements. And you can find even more about what's going on at Buff on buff.org and through our newsletter, Buff News, which you can subscribe to at buff.org.
We thank you for your understanding, ongoing caution, and consideration for one another.
Could you hand me that water? Oh, shoot, never mind. Oh, you did. You did. Thank you, that was kind.
This summer, I spent a lot of time intentionally communing with water. Oceans, rivers, waterfalls, streams, lakes, and ponds. And I found myself astounded and grateful for its many gifts. And I ended up writing a prayer in praise of water. Now, with the smoke of wildfires clouding our community, I feel even more grateful for the gifts of water. So this morning, for our water communion service, I share my prayer to water with you now as Paul lights the chalice to lead us into our time of worship. I bow before you in gratitude for the ocean waves that teach me the art of ebbing and flowing, giving with my whole self and leaving what treasures I have to offer on the shore, and then slipping back to source to restore myself for the next offering. For the rivers, creeks, and streams that teach me the art of flowing expressiveness, moving around the obstacles and smoothing them just a little as I go. For the still waters of lakes and ponds and their invitation to quiet, soften, and practice the art of reflection. For the waters that quenched my thirst, soften the seed case so the sprout can break through, break the summer heat with the crash and rumble of thunderstorms, blanket and round the harsh surfaces with snow, shape-shifting again and again and again. For the waters I emerged from for life itself, I bow to you in gratitude. Now, please join me in reciting our covenant. The words are in your order of service and also on the screen. Love is the spirit of this fellowship, and service gives it life. Celebrating our diversity and joined by a quest for truth, we work for peace and honor all creation. This is our covenant.
Thanks, Carrie. Can we stand now and sing hymn 188? You might not need your hymn book. It's one line around. Come, come, wherever you are. We'll sing it all together, and then we'll split into a round of collegiate.
Come, come, whoever you are.
Wander, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is a caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come. Come, come, wherever you are. Wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is a caravan of despair. Yeah.
Great, and stay standing and sing the next hymn, For the Earth Forever Turning, number 163.
great to be able to sing as loud as I can because there's so many of you filling up the sanctuary with your sound. I'd like to invite the children forward now for a little story. Or I guess here, I'll just pull up my chair. This is called Water Dance, and it talks about all of the ways that we experience water. Some people say that I am one thing. Others say that I am many. Ever since the world began, I have been moving in an endless circle. Sometimes I fall from the sky. I am the rain. Sometimes I cascade. I tumble down over the moss-covered rocks, through the forest shadows. I am the mountain stream. In the shadows of the mountain, I am still and deep. I fill and overflow. I am the lake. I wind through broad golden valleys, joined by streams, joined by creeks. I grow ever wider, broader, and deeper. I am the river. I pass through a gateway of high stone palisades, leaving the land behind. Cool silver moonlight sparkles and dances on my waves. I am the sea. Drawn upward by warm sunlight, in white silver veils, I rise into the air and I disappear. I am the mist. In thousands of shapes, I reappear, high above the earth and the blue sky. I float. I drift. I am the clouds. I blind the sky with lightning. The earth trembles with my thunder. I rage. I drench the mountainside. I am the storm. Storms come, storms pass. I am countless droplets of rain left floating in the silent air. I reflect all the colors of sunlight. I am the rainbow. I am one thing. I am many things. I am water. This is my dance through our world. And I know some of you are going to dance off to classes or other activities, and some of you are probably going to stay. But Jeannie will take those of you who are going out as we sing to you. We hold you in our love as you go, as you go. May your heart be at peace as you go. To nurture the spark of your precious life. We hold you in our love as you go. Spirit of life, who we know through water, fire, earth, and breath. From many different streams you draw us together to this bend in the greater river of being. Gather us now into love from near and far, from places of joy, tears, peace, and puzzlement. Fountain of wisdom, mingle with us here as we dwell a moment, to splash, cascade, and effervesce, until, like flowing water, neither forcing nor holding back, we spill forth. O companion in mystery, as we gather and swirl with elements heretofore unknown, carve with us new courses of goodness. Shape with us new contours of beauty. And let's dwell together in one another's loving presence for 2 to 3 minutes of silence. That was so sweet a minute ago when we sang the kids out. We hadn't done that. I wasn't sure. I didn't even put it in the order of service because I didn't know if there would be any kids. And even without having it in the order of service so spontaneously, so many of you joined in, and I look forward to teaching that song, to Buff teaching that song to all the new people who are joining us. Water creates, water nurtures, water destroys. The immensity, this one's not working.
Use the regular microphone.
Thank you, Mike. Water is in our background like so many of the things that make Buff run. So our tech people are often like water in underground streams. And I am so grateful for their presence. Water creates, water nurtures, and water destroys. The immensity and the necessity and the power of water humble us. Water cleanses and connects us all. Water touches every shore of every nation, even those divided against one another. It has touched everything that has ever lived and ever will be. Water invites us to know its cycles and to participate in these cycles as it flows through us every day, year after year. I invite you now to reflect upon the waters. Allow your experience with water in recent days or weeks to stir within you some insight, some deep truth. In a few minutes, we'll each have the opportunity to share the essence of our individual insights by simply pouring a bit of ourselves into the common bowl. We will contribute to and bless our entire assembled community. And many on Zoom have been able to participate in our water communion, which we had available yesterday outside for those who wanted to drive by and contribute. So we have water from that as well that will be poured later into our common bowl. Let's also take this moment to reflect on whether the water that we bring, and I know some of you have brought little jars or vials of water. For those of you who haven't, we have pitchers of water that you will be able to use. I usually forget to bring my own, and so I use the pitcher representing the water of all time and space. So reflect upon the water that you bring, however you bring it. Whether it's water of the east or south, west or north. While each of us is made up of water from all four directions, please consider what it is that you bring and what brings you today. And then I invite you to condense all of that, all that entails, into a single word that you'll have a chance to share with us later when I invite you forward for the water communion. When I speak of the four directions, this is what I mean. By waters of the east, I mean waters of new beginnings, waters of sunrise. By waters of the south, I mean waters of fullness, waters recharged by midday sun, or waters churning and overflowing. By waters of the west, I mean the waters of harvest, journey's end, brilliant like the sun sliding off the horizon. By waters of the north, I mean waters of rest and renewal, waters that flow from the wisdom of gentle darkness. Following a short interlude, I will invite you to come forward and pour your water, again, either from the pitcher or from your own source. And I'll call for the waters from each direction one at a time. But don't get too hung up on the directions. If you don't know when to come, just come. As you pour, please share, if you wish, just one word, if you wish, that distills the insight represented within your water at this moment. During the social hour after the service, I encourage you to share at greater length what that word meant to you. Children and adults, even if you're visiting for the first time today, please share in and be a part of this experience. So each of these bowls is marked with water of the east, water of the south, water of the west, water of the north. So as I call forth any of these, pour into the appropriate bowl, and then later on to conclude the ceremony, we'll be pouring all of those into our common bowl. These are the waters of the east, waters of sunrise and new beginnings. These waters have nourished young children and animals. They have brought forth new green life. They are waters of springtime and freshness. So bring forward now, come forward with your waters of the east.
Inspiration.
Thirst.
Fluidity.
Sisterhood. Lakes. Change.
Precious.
These are the waters of the south, waters of summer and fullness. They are waters of the heat of the day, empowering or perhaps overpowering us with their fullness. Bring forward now, waters of the south.
Community. Hypnotic. Flow. Love. Play. Health. Hopefulness.
Pets.
Vacations.
Joy.
Justice.
And these are waters of the west, waters of sunset. These are the sweat of harvest time, waters to cool us in times of completion. These are the cooling waters of autumn, rust-colored and peaceful. Now bring forward the waters of the west.
Refreshment.
Oasis. Tomatoes.
Transition.
Garden.
Sharing.
Life.
Home.
Reunion.
Thirst.
Makes sense. And now behold the waters of the north, the waters of winter, waters of quiet and grace. These are waters of preparation, of becoming ready for that which comes further along. They are the waters of night, of rest, representing the peace that comes without bidding. Now bring forward waters of the north, which also probably include those that you just don't know where you fit. And there's plenty of room.
Puppies.
Embody.
Friendship.
Healing.
Rejuvenation.
Equilibrium.
Passings.
Unshackling.
Perspective.
Stillness.
Empowerment.
Laughter. Awe.
Contentment.
Gratitude.
C.
Balance.
Purity.
Kindness.
Home.
Reunion.
And knowing that there are many more, those of you who are on Zoom, I'm imagining many of you have had your own little water ceremony at home. For those of you who have not, and for those around the world who are experiencing joy and complexity, earth, fire, wind, however you're experiencing water, I'll pour one more splash in each of these bowls. Thank you so much for the gifts that you bring. I invite you now to share some of your gifts. The ushers will come around to receive your financial gifts, and I know that many of you have and will be making your contributions to Buff via automatic withdrawals or credit cards or various options that we have online. Those of you on Zoom, there's a card up right now showing you how to contribute. And of course, we acknowledge and so appreciate all the ways that you have of giving of yourself to the world. And I invite you to share with one another the blessing of the waters. Let's say this together. Blessed be these waters, gathered here from far and near. Blessed be the hands that gathered these waters and poured them out. Blessed be the sharing of our lives and our stories that makes this community a font of living water. Blessed be those whose lives are touched by these waters, that their thirst may be quenched. Blessed be those whose lives are like flowing springs, who bring refreshment to those who are parched. Blessed be this community of memory and hope, which in its coming together and its sharing of joy and sorrow
blessed soul, who come here and makes these waters holy. And now all the waters will be brought together into the common bowl. This air we breathe, this land on which we live, this water that nourishes and cleanses us, this home that blesses us beyond measure. May we honor and care for these, humbly giving thanks each and every day. And now let's sing together Blue Boat Home, which is number 1064 in your teal hymnal. And let's join hands as we circle around for freedom.